In this sequence we'll see about CTL properties. So you have up to now, you have seen how to build a reachability graph, how it can be used for system analysis. You've seen how to express properties in LTL logics. So looking at paths, linear time. And now we'll see CTL logics to express additional properties. CTL logics as a branching time semantics. So instead of looking at a path like LTL, we'll look at a tree of executions. So here you can see a possible tree of execution where you have S0, which is the starting point, and then you can go either to S1 or to S2. And from S1 you can go to either S3 or S4, and etc. So you have different possible executions. You don't look at a single one, but at a whole set of possibilities. So CTL stands for computational tree logics. Its syntax, well, is a bit similar to LTL, but you express things on a tree instead of a path. So you have additional operators. You have atomic propositions. So an atomic proposition is a CTL formula. You have also the negation, the end of formulas that are possible. And you also have the X operator for next, the G operator for globally, E for exists, which is a new one, and you still have U for until. So you can express in CTL exists next phi 1. So you remember that you have a full set of paths that is that you can use. Yeah. So exist next will make it possible to express the fact that if you are in some state here, there is something happening next on one branch or on the other branch. Okay. Exists globally, well, will help you make the choice between different paths and have state that there exists a path where a property is globally satisfied. And similarly, there exists a possibility for phi 1 until phi 2, a path that satisfies phi 1 until phi 2. So similarly to what we did for LTL, we can associate a set of states that with a CTL formula that satisfies the formula. So a state satisfies an atomic proposition if it's the atomic proposition labels this state. It doesn't satisfy the formula if the state is not in the set of states satisfying this formula. It satisfies both formula. Well, it satisfies formula S1, phi 1 and phi 2 if it satisfies phi 1 and it satisfies phi 2. So it's in the intersection of both sets of states satisfying phi 1 and phi 2. A state S satisfies EX phi if there exists a state S prime that is next state of S. So I have the possibility to go from S to S prime, where S prime satisfies formula phi. Then a state S satisfied EG phi if there exists a run starting in S such that there is on the whole path from this state S on this run the states satisfy phi. So all along the path you can find from this state all along the path states that satisfy formula phi. And here exists phi 1 until phi 2 is looking at runs that start in state S such that phi 1 is satisfied all along until some index I, where the formula phi 2 is satisfied. So as for LTL properties, we'll see how it can be depicted on the set of states here. So you have a tree. Let's say the tree represents the crypto structure of our system, where we want to verify the properties, and we want to verify that exp is true. So the same as for LTL properties in the previous sequence, we'll color the nodes that satisfy some properties with the same color as the formula. So here the red dot satisfies is formula P. So the formula exp states that there exists a next state that satisfies P. So I'm in the initial state here. I have the initial state, and I want to check that one of the next states, there exists one of the next states that satisfies P. This one doesn't, but this one does, and therefore the CTL formula exp is satisfied. If we want to check that EGP is there exists a path where globally we have P, and you can see that is the case here. Along this path, we always have formula P. Right. The other states don't satisfy P, but it's not a problem. There exists a path where P is satisfied. Exists Q until P can be seen as Q is satisfied all along the path in the tree until I reach some state where the property P is satisfied. And here we have the existence of such a path that is pictured. Here is another formula, EFP. So EFP is the same as exists in the future P. So it's the same as exists true until P. So I start from the initial state, and I want to find a path where in the future I will have P. And you can see that this path satisfies this formula. So there exists in the future a state satisfying P. AXP is a formula stating that always the next state satisfies P, and it can be written in the semantics we have shown previously as the negation of there exists a next state which doesn't satisfy P. So in all next states of the state I'm considering, in all next state I must have P satisfied, which is the case here. I have all states satisfying P. You can also express AGP, always globally P, and there you want to state that all states in your tree satisfies this formula P. And this is the case, they are all red dots. Another formula would be AFP, and there is always in the future we have property P. So it's the same as there doesn't exist a path where globally we don't have P. And this is what we can see on these pictures. Always, whatever the path you choose, you'll find somewhere on the path the state where formula P is satisfied. So all these red dots. And finally, always Q until P. And you can see that the Q until P exists on all paths in the tree. So whichever you choose, you will always have Q satisfied and then P satisfied. So these are the most usual formula for CTL logics. If we take again the introductory symmetric net example, we have the same atomic propositions as we had for LTL. We will explain three CTL formula. So the first one here, AG not busy of C1 and busy of C2, says always globally I don't have busy of C1 and busy of C2. So these two tokens C1 and C2 can never be together in place busy. The second formula here, AG weighting of C3 implies AF busy of C3, states that whenever C3 requests the critical section to enter the critical section, it will eventually succeed. And finally, the last one, here, AG EF of idle of C1 and idle of C2 and idle of C3 states that if you have C1 and C2 and C3 in idle, so as in the initial state, you always have the possibility to return to the initial state. So always globally, so everywhere in the tree of executions, there exists in the future a state where I have the three process in the idle state. So I can return back to this initial state in my Petri net. Okay, so at this stage you've seen about symmetric net with their syntax and their semantics. You've seen how to build a reachability graph, how it can be used for system analysis, and you have seen a bit of LTL and CTL logics to express these properties that you're interested in. So in the next session, we'll put that into practice using the Cosivary platform.